Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Coaster Chall, YouTube channel Doncaster born, but built for theme parks, and welcome to this another Coaster Chall review. Now, this review, I believe, is the last of the four reviews that I wanted to get done, at least in March. Obviously, there's room for more just in case, but again, this is the last one I wanted to get done in March. Out of the four main ones I wanted to get done. We've already done Hex, Subterra, Logger's Leap, and now we're on to Big Dipper at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Now, Big Dipper, classic wooden coaster. We're only a few years off its 100th birthday. Please don't take it down until its 100th. Maybe announce the RMC treatment on 100th birthday. No, I'm joking. I don't think there's going to be any RMCs unless it's a raptor coming to Blackpool Pleasure Beach. The wooden coasters just do historic. But yeah, Big Dipper, it is a decent woody. I'm not going to lie, it's a very classic woody. It's got that classic vibe. Not just with its age, etc., but the way it feels sometimes on some of the corners and some of the hills and stuff like that. It feels very classic-y, vintagey, vibey kind of thing. So we're going to get straight on with the categories. We're going to start with queue line and station atmosphere. Now, again, this is a main category on the videos, on the review, should we say. So queue line, there isn't much. However, queue line, you don't just judge it on there's no atmosphere during the queue line, like any theming around the queue line and stuff like that. You have to judge it on the layout of the queue line as well, and there's like a bit of cattle penny sort of leading towards the air gates. But with Big Dipper, there's always that interesting queue line where you go down the steps, and it's like a branch off queue line in a way. So it's very on a hill kind of a queue line. So because you always have to go down that ramp, don't you? And then you sort of go through the cattle penny bit with the window, which you can look from Infusion from out there. So it's quite an interesting layout for a queue line, but again, there's no real atmosphere apart from the train going off and coming back in the station again. Station, again, no real atmosphere, no soundtrack, but again, that's Blackpool Pleasure Beach. It's not a themed park with different soundtrack. It's an amusement park. It's definitely an amusement park. You know, it's the UK's roller coaster. Come on. So for queue line and station atmosphere, I'm going to give that a strong 6. I think if it was specifically themed, it would have been an 8, depending on how much theming there is. But again, it's not. But I think it's just the interesting layout of the queue line and stuff like that, and the views you get of Infusion from the window that sort of make it for me. So that's queue line and station atmosphere. Moving on to theming around the ride, it's going to be a 0. There's literally no theming. I don't count any. There's no theming. Technically, there's absolutely none. Now, of course, landscaping is a different story. Now, if you were just judging that on theming, I'd give it 0. But with how it's landscaped and stuff like that, my final rating for theming around the ride and landscaping, which the rename of the category, by the way, theming and landscaping, I'm going to give it a strong 4. I think we should be fair to them. I think the landscaping's alright. I think with Icon around now, it complements that area really, really well. Obviously, one of the hills of Big Dipper that sort of looks out onto that site, you know, it was looking at an empty construction site at first, so it didn't really look that good. But then again, you know, you've got back into the swing of it now, and it's got that pristine area where next to Icon, the Mac Double launch, which I cannot wait to do. I'm still waiting for the day to do it. So yeah, I definitely think Big Dipper's got a decent landscape, so that's why I'm giving it a 4 for theming and landscape. Layout of the ride, it is a decent wooden coaster layout. So it's not just about off-ride ability, it's on-ride ability. So off-ride, the layout looks good. Layout looks, you know, again, it gives off that vintage vibe for a wooden coaster. But on-ride, it's very, very aggressive in good way and a bad way. It's got some, you know, rattly bits. It throws you about a bit. But with the Big Dipper, I think, in terms of its on-ride ability, there's always bits where it's still quite smooth, in my opinion. Now, a lot of people don't really like the Big Dipper as much because they think it's a rougher ride. And I think you're right. I think it's got rough for a bit. but it's definitely still giving off a few smooth sections. So I'm not going to go completely all in on Big Dipper. So for Big Dipper, in terms of the layout of the ride, including on and off rideability, I'm going to give it a strong 6. So overall for this attraction, I'm going to give it 5.5 out of 10. I think it's definitely up there. It's in the top 3 for my wooden coasters, behind Nick Streak second and Wickerman first, which is of course overall my top roller coaster. But like I said, Big Dipper's a strong coaster, and I definitely think it's got a strong future if they sort of fix some of those rougher bits. However, I do feel as if there's still room for improvement, and if RMC decides to come in, but again, it's a listed coaster, it's a listed building, the station, so is it going to happen? Probably not. So you've only got to look to the future, haven't you? So there we go. So strong 5.5 out of 10 for the Big Dipper review. So thank you very much for watching this video from the Big Dipper review. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss a YouTube video. My name is Coast Chall YouTube channel. Keep living the coast life, my dudes, and I'll see you guys in the next video soon. Take care. Have an awesome day, my friends.